Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card is messages from the higher self of your father. Now this is a two-parter that I'm going to do. I'm also going to do another video where I talk about messages from the higher self of your mother. But today we're focusing on the father. Now before I get in, this pick a card, when I talk about father, this can mean whatever that means for you. People can act as a father in our lives, but not necessarily be our biological father. They could have been a stepdad. They could have just raised us. They could have been an older brother, a granddad, you know, anyone that you feel fathered you or was your father or had that connection or maybe should have been there but wasn't, or even if your father has passed on and in the spirit realm, anything, you can apply that to any sense of the word. I'm going to be channeling their higher self, whether they're in the physical or not, and we are just going to be seeing what comes through, whether that can aid with healing, whether this can just help you realize some things and you can purge, and you know, we can hold space for each other, or if you want some answers, maybe we can see if we can get them in this video. Whatever the case, I'm going to keep it nice and open and you guys can just listen, and I'll allow the messages to come through and find you where they need to. I've wanted to do this video for a while because myself, I've been healing a lot in regards to my own father, and been doing a lot of healing work there, and it's nowhere near done. But I was going through a huge bout of purging last year in regards to my father, and I went on YouTube to look for picker cards in regards to like the father, and I didn't find many. There was maybe 3, and although those 3 really helped me, I just felt like there needed to be more. And I promised myself when I felt ready I would add to that collective and kind of give back where I was kind of helped. So that's why I really wanted to do this video today. I know it can be heavy, so trigger warning before I get in, because there may be some heavy emotions that come through. If you guys do feel a wave of emotions going through this reading, that's completely fine. Allow it to purge out. There's nothing wrong. But I've asked Spirit to just take me where I need to with this reading. So whether it's guidance that's needed, you need to purge, you want some answers, some closure, or you just want, a place where I can hold space for you, that's what we're doing today. Okay, so we have 4 piles for you to choose from. Pile number 1 is the smoky quartz. Pile number 2 is the blue calcite. Pile number 3 is the jade crystal. And pile number 4 is the amber. So see which crystal you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual, and I will see you guys at your timestamp. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So we are going to be taking a look at what messages the higher self of your father has for you today. So you guys chose the smoky quartz. I'm going to pop that up here and we are going to get straight in. So I'm going to start with tarot and then I'm going to move into the oracle cards. So pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1, can you please tap me into the collective of pile number 1, please? What is the message of pile number 1's? What is the message from pile number 1's father today? What is the message from the collective of pile number 1's fathers? What message do they have for pile number 1? What message do they have for pile number 1? I literally just shared it's not your fault as the 5 of Cups falls. I'm gonna wait to get into that before I just lay the first 4 cards. But there is a disappointment coming through. There is like a grief or a disappointment, like it shouldn't have went that way. I'm gonna get into it because I don't want to just like assume. I want to really channel that. So let me just lay the cards. Pile 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1, what is the message from pile number 1's? Oh, we have the 8 of Wands. I almost feel like there's an action that your father did that kind of shook up your life or shook up your childhood, and this is something that they deeply regret. We literally have the 4 of Cups and the 5 of Cups. There's something that they did. It was almost like with the 2 of Cups here, it was like they weren't grateful for what, this is how they're coming through. It was like, I wasn't grateful for what I had, or I wasn't tending to my own crops and I may have gone somewhere else. That was something that was short-lived. But what it did, it may have just seemed simple at the time, but it's created this shift, not just for me, but everyone that, you know, I was connected to, my children. It's created this shift, and I'm sat here and it's like, I've just messed this up. I've just hurt people, and it's like something I wish I could take back, but now I know I can't. Those cups have already spilt. There's nothing that I can do now. There's a feeling about that, and there's a grief and a disappointment in regards to you, the viewer, of like, it should never have went that way. And I don't know why I keep hearing it's not your fault. It's not your fault. So I don't know whether you blame something on yourself, but there's this energy of it's not your fault. Maybe there was an argument. Maybe they projected onto you, but there's just this feeling like they're coming through to say it's not you. It wasn't you. It was never you. It's not your fault. Sometimes when we're young and we're children, we can internalize a parent leaving or a divorce or something like that as it's our fault. Or if, and this is coming through, if this particular parent had an addiction, we sometimes as a child will internalize that. I've done it myself. It's like, you're young, you don't know better, so you almost think that it's your fault. And sometimes, you know, depending on the person, they can kind of put that on the child too, and then you internalize that. And I feel like you guys, pile number one, you may have internalized something that the higher self of your father is stepping in to kind of take that burden off you and saying, this isn't yours to carry and it's not your fault, let it go. This is mine. This is my disappointment. This is my grief. This is something that I've done. This was never an act on you, you know? And that's a message that's coming through straight away. A decision I caused created hurt and pain on someone else, and I deeply regret it, and now I don't know how to get out of that. There is this feeling straight away coming through, pile one. I don't know whether your father was, you know, addicted to substances or something like that, or they just there's something that they did that was like impulse, or something that they would do, it was like a weakness. There was something that they did, I don't know whether they it was like infidelity to, you know, your mother, or if it was them just walking out. But there's something that they did that they're telling me it was coming from a weakness, it was coming from a void, and they wanted to fill it, and they chose like a small high that they deeply regretted the instant that they did it. And that to me is making me feel a little bit like addiction, because when, you know, people have addictions, it's like they're going through these feelings, these emotions, it's like that's going to take my mind off it. And I feel like they did that in that sense. It's like, I feel this type of way, I've got all of these wounds within me, I don't know how to deal with it, I'm going to do something stupid, or, you know, do something on a whim where I'm not thinking, and then it just caused disruption for everybody else, and now they're stuck in their energy, like in regret. And I feel like this is something, whether they're still on the earth plane or not, they're still holding on to regret. It's like I can see how it's affected the people around me. The more I move on, or the more I, you know, ascend, maybe, I can see how that's caused a rippling effect, and it's this internalized grief, if that makes sense. Pile number, oh god, I almost feel as well that if I am talking about like addictions, if that's something that resonates with you, because this is going to resonate for a few people because it's coming up, I almost feel like they would have also watched their parent, maybe their father, deal with addictions too, or deal with something like that too, because it's almost like internalized grief of their own parent too, which has caused them to have those feelings in the first place. Do you understand what I mean? There's that coming through, that showing me like a family line, and they're saying it goes beyond me, and it was before me too, and it's something that I fell into as well. So it, you know, whether that's addiction or infidelity or something like that, there's something that their higher self is completely holding their hand up to and saying, I take full responsibility. And I feel like if they are on the physical plane, they do take responsibility of it, whether they say it or not. But it's so, your father on the physical plane, they almost feel like a Virgo. There's a lot of like overthinking and internalizing, but then there's also this energy of not wanting to let people know how, it's like not wanting to let the outside world know my weakness, so I'm gonna like hide that, or, you know, pride getting in the way. There's that in regards to that kind of like human self. Pile number one, please, spirit guides, a message from pile number one's father's higher self. We have the Lovers. Yeah, this could have this could have been infidelity, pile number one. And they're almost referencing here with the Lovers card as well. We have the Page of Cups at the back of the deck. They're almost referencing here that, like, their infidelity or their, I don't know whether they left to go be with, like, another family or they had another family after you guys, but it's like they're referencing that it's caused relationship issues with you, pile number one. It's caused you to, like, internalize that, and then it's kind of manifested in your own relationships. And I feel like this is something you're aware of, because I'm hearing that there's a pride coming through from the higher self, like this is something you've actually taken, and they're saying this is the difference between me and them. They did not inflict those emotions or allow those emotions and pains to narrate their life for so long. They put a stop to it. They were strong enough to purge that and stop this cycle. And there's this feeling of that's the difference between me and them. I wasn't strong enough. And that they're referencing that. They're referencing you as being very, very strong. And it's almost like you had to be strong to a default. There's a feeling of that, like it was like a default set, and it was like I wasn't there as much as I should have been, or they had to pick up pieces that I, from the mess that I caused, and that's made them strong. So even though I'm proud of how strong they are, I am also guilty of that, because it's like I am also the reason that they're so strong, because I've created this mess, or I've created this shift, and they had to be strong. So there's a pride, but it also comes with a guilt. Do you understand what I mean? And they're referencing that through time, and I don't know whether it's something you're currently working on or something that you will work on. I see your outlook on relationships changing, because I almost feel like maybe beforehand there was this energy of I never want to get married, or I never want to have that family life because I don't think it works, and that was because of like a tainted image of what you may have saw through childhood. And there's almost this feeling of like I had that tainted image too, and that manifested for me, but there's this feeling with you like you're clearing out the clutter and you're healing those wounds. And I feel like in spirit your father's higher self is kind of walking through it with you. There's also a feeling from your father's higher self, like they almost look at you as more spiritually conscious than them, even in like the spiritual world. And there's no hierarchy in the spiritual world at all. We all have our different layers in what we learn, but there's almost a feeling from that higher self, like almost like you're a pro healer, like you've healed in many other lifetimes. I almost feel like your father in other lifetimes may have been like how do I explain this? They may have been like, you could have had like a tribe, and say like you were the elder, they would have been learning from you. There's almost this energy, and they're saying it's literally the same in this lifetime, like the way you've carried yourself, or the way that you've healed, the way that you've purged, the way that you've taken the reins, even in the physical, they're learning from you, pile number one. And it's still like something that they're looking up to you for, if that makes sense. The way that you've dealt with things, you've dealt with it in a completely different way that they have, and it's almost like you're teaching them what to do. You know what I mean? Almost like you're being the parent to them in a way, and it's like they're watching that. And of course there's a guilt, but there is a little bit of feeling of pride, like I couldn't do that, so I feel a little bit stupid. That's supposed to be me taking care of you. I've failed as what I came here to be, which was your father. There is a feeling of that, but it's also, there is an awe towards you, pile number one, of like, look how they've grown, look how they've changed. I do feel that if you haven't already manifested a connection that's very healthy, I feel like you will. And it's almost like that, whether they're watching from the spirit world or whether they're watching in the physical world, it's almost like they're learning from that again, because it's like, oh wow, like they've manifested that. And the thing is, when we are able to break these situations and heal those, it does feel like a generational karma that I feel like you've healed through them. When we're able to do that, and we do better for ourselves, people that never had that chance to work on themselves and heal themselves, like parents, like grandparents, they see that and they're like, oh wow, well they did it, so I can. And we serve as that light. Not that you were ever supposed to be that light to them, because it's like they were supposed to nurture you, and they're referencing that I was supposed to be taking care of you, I was supposed to be nurturing you. But I'm being shown like you're a born healer, and I feel like that's what you've come here to do, is heal those wounds, reparent yourself. I feel like that's something you may have had to do, or this situation is something that you've purged through and worked through to heal and transmute, so your children don't have to go through it. But there is just this energy of, there's this guilt coming through. Like, even though I understand it from a spiritual degree, I'm still guilty because I was supposed to be their dad. I was supposed to nurture them. I was supposed to be there for them. I was supposed to give them more. And this little decision, me being careless, me thinking of me, has caused this. Now, one thing that I will say with the Page of Cups is that there is almost hope with your father, even in the physical. Like, there's this feeling from the higher self of like hope that you could patch up or mend a connection. If you aren't speaking to them, there is a hope. There's almost an optimism of, we could mend this, we could patch this up, we could work on this, you know what I mean? We could move forward from this. And I almost feel like, it's funny because they're saying that, but then they're also telling me that their physical self, without meaning to, comes across quite cold and closed off. And I feel like you have a very big heart. You're quite nurturing and open, and I feel like some of you guys are quite talkative. You don't mind talking about the like deep stuff, and I feel like they don't like to do that. So there's almost a feeling like they don't mean to, but it's almost like you trigger them sometimes because you're saying things that, like, you know, they've swept under the carpet. So it's like you're bringing that up. And it's like, oh my God, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. And it's healing to them in a way because it's like you're showing them that that wound's still there so they can work on it. But at the same time, it's like triggering them and they want to run. So they may act quite closed off to you, maybe your siblings, maybe to anyone just nurturing them or giving them love, because I don't feel like they ever received it in life, at least from their parents growing up. So they had that mentality, didn't understand how to shift that. So they naturally have that. So when people are, it's almost like I can give, or I could nurture, but like I don't like it when they, like, it's given back to me because it makes me uncomfortable. It's foreign to me. I don't understand that. So there's almost that energy coming through. And there's almost a feeling like even before they made this decision, there was already this guilt because they'd already internalized it through their parents. So there's this energy of like, even when they had you, it was almost like an insecurity of, I know I'm already going to mess this up. Like, I already know this, you know, like it was almost like they were predicting it. I already know this is going to happen. I know that because this is where I come from. This is what happens. And there was a lot of fear that it would be on you. And now that I feel like they've done something that would have affected you, I feel like there's guilt. Now I'm going to pull another 4 cards to clarify before we get into the oracle cards, because I want to get a little bit deeper. They're very matter of fact in real life. Like, they're coming to me not showing their emotions as such, they're telling me their emotions. They're almost telling me that if I was to tap into their emotions and fully feel their emotions, I'm being told that it would be a little bit too heavy. There's so much going on. There's almost this feeling of, if you really tapped into me, your mind may be in a spin and you'll be ungrounded. There's almost this feeling like you wouldn't be able to finish the other pick of cards because it would just take you out of your energy, because there's so much spiraling within, and it's like they buried it. They don't allow themselves to feel, so it's easier for the higher self to matter of fact tell me instead of making me feel, because that would be a lot of energy to process. That's what they're referencing to me. Because I've noticed I've been more matter of fact and I haven't got like emotional. Like, that's basically why. Pile number 1. This, I feel like the higher self of your father is letting me know like they have got a lot they need to like process and work through, and they're saying that it's not on you to fix or heal them. This is something that they've got to do. The way that you actually apply yourself to this situation is living the best life for you and becoming the best version of you. That's not just doing yourself and your inner child justice, but that's doing your father justice and everyone that came before that didn't have that connection or was able to do it. You breaking those barriers and being that best version of you, you know what I mean, and living life unapologetically, that's kind of doing it justice, and that's making them proud, and that in a way is healing them, because it's like they're seeing how it should be done. Do you understand what I mean? And they're learning from you. But they keep, every time I say they're learning from you, they're saying, but it should be the other way around. They should have learned from me the good ways. You know what I mean? I should have been the one teaching them that, not them doing it themselves. There's a lot of grief there, pile 1. Pile number 1, please, for guides. And there's a feeling coming through, like, and I want to say, don't ever feel like I hope you never felt like I didn't love you. There's almost a feeling like you felt unloved by your father, and there's this feeling like I did love you. Like, don't ever think that it pains them to think that. It's like, I just don't know how to love properly. Like, that's how they're coming through, saying I didn't know how to love properly, and I wasn't entirely connected to my heart space to be able to process those emotions properly. I didn't even know what that was. So trying to make sense of that love was very hard for me, and it came across in wrong ways when I didn't mean it to. And there's almost this feeling of like them slapping their knee and they're like, oh, I've messed this up. Like, I'm hearing that. There's this feeling like, oh, I've messed it up. I've messed it up. Like, there's that feeling. But at the same time, with the Page of Cups that was at the back of the deck, there's this feeling of, we could still grow from this. Like, this plant hasn't died. We water it enough and it can still bloom. There's a feeling of that. Pile number 1. We have the Six of Wands here. Pile number 1, please, Spirit Guides. Ooh. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Seven of Pentacles. Pile number 1. Yeah, there's a lot of what ifs, would have, could have, should haves. Am I using these 2 cards? Yeah, they're telling me to use these to describe the Lover, so I'm going to put them like this: the Tower and the Nine of Swords. We got the King of Cups. I feel like this is the energy of your father. Like, they don't allow their emotions to come out to other people. It's like I almost feel when they open up to those feelings and they feel that pain, it's like they'll turn to a vice, or they'll, you know what I mean, turn to somebody else to like fill the void. That's almost how it feels. And the older they get, they're realizing that's not how it's done. And those things don't even suffice anymore. It's like, that's not how it's done, you know? So Six of Wands. Yeah, there's almost this feeling of having these emotions. There was something that they did that caused the shift, that caused pain on you and other people, and it's like it was over a temporary. With the Six of Wands here, they thought that it would make them happy. They thought it would bring them freedom. With this horse energy here, it's like they thought it would bring them freedom. They thought it would make them happy. They thought it would be helping them, and it didn't. It backfired, you know? And with the Eight of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles, I almost feel like if it was a sense of infidelity, there's almost this feeling of the Queen of Pentacles maybe being the mother. And talking about, like, there was a lot of energies that she would have had to process as well. This could be coming through as you as well as the Queen of Pentacles. You having to process those energies. But it's almost like because of that shift with this Queen of Pentacles, you grew to take care of yourself, nurture yourself, grow up by yourself. Like, there's a feeling of that. So with the Eight of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles here, it's like you took care of yourself. Because of this, you licked your own wounds, you purged through it, you know what I mean? You worked it all out, you did that, and there's a feeling of you shouldn't have had to do that. And with the Four of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles here, it's like they look back a lot with disappointment, and it's like, what if I would have gone that way? What if I would have gone that way? What if I never did that? It's 33 on the clock. It's 1:33 on the clock. I don't know if that's a number you guys have been seeing, but just saw that. But yeah, there's this feeling of, what if I would have done this? What if I didn't do this? What if it would have gone different? You know what I mean? There's a lot of that. And I do feel like, especially at night, I feel like at night they think about it a lot. And I don't know if your father currently like drinks a lot, but there's almost, I'm being shown somebody with like a beer or like a drink or like a glass of wine and just like drinking, you know what I mean? But it almost feels like it's not like chaotic, like I'm gonna go on like this huge binge. It's just like they've always maybe got something in their hand, especially in the evenings. That may be something that you remember from childhood, them having something in the evenings. It's kind of like to take the edge off type thing. They're referencing that. And I feel like I'm being shown somebody sitting in front of like a fireplace with the drink in their hand, and it's like they're sipping it to take the edge off, but then there's this feeling of, what if this? What if that happened? What if I didn't do this? What if, you know, there's a lot of that. And I feel with this Tower card and the Nine of Swords, there's a lot of regret. I do feel like it could have been something to do with infidelity with the Lovers card here, but whatever it is, it caused this tower to fall down, and it caused a lot of grief for not just them, but a lot of people. And then it caused them more grief seeing what they've done, but there's almost this feeling of not taking ownership right away, because it's like, I don't want to deal with it, you know what I mean? That there is that feeling. One thing that they're just very, very focused on mentioning in this reading as well is wanting you to heal wounds in regards to your heart, abandonment wounds, or people neglecting you, you know what I mean? There's a feeling of that, and I feel like that's something you're working through, and I feel like that's something they're working through with you. That's something that they're almost working, I wouldn't necessarily to say that higher self is working as a guide, but that higher self is taking responsibility for that wound and is kind of walking with you through that to heal that. I want to see if there's any messages that come through quickly before I pull the oracle cards in regards to the wound. I'm almost feeling like you're taking care of it. There's almost this feeling of like, I just want to say, yeah, they're brilliant. Like, they're taking care of it. And it's almost like that's where the strength energy is coming from when I'm tapping into you. Like, you're taking care of it. There's not even much that I could really say to you right now that would aid it, because it's almost this feeling of whether right now it's purging out or you've already purged the most of it out and you're taking care of it. You're opening up to new love. There's almost this feeling of like, I don't need to give too much guidance because it's past. Like, or I don't need to give too much guidance because it's like, not much left to purge from it. And I almost feel like you can turn chaos into calm waters. That's how they're making me feel, and that's how they're viewing you from the higher self. Like, you'll see a storm and you can just turn it into calm waters straight away. You have that alchemy within you, and I feel like when something comes up to process, I feel like you naturally do it without even realizing it. So there's not really much to say in regards to healing that father wound, because I just feel like they just keep clicking their fingers and saying they've taken care of it. That they've taken care of it. I'm working through it. And they've been next to you. I see someone purging it out, and I see like the higher self of the father, like, you know, behind them spiritually, like hand on shoulder guiding. Like, it does feel like that. And I do feel like your father is part of like your soul family as well. It does feel like that. It's not just like ancestral, like family tree. It's like soul ties, like soul tree. It's like soul family. It does feel that way. And without realizing it, I feel like they've really aided in your healing journey a lot, more than you've ever really realized. And they're quite intertwined with you spiritually, because they're part of that. I feel like you've had past lives with your father. I feel like and in a lot of those lives, they learned from you. You know, you've always kind of been like the head, and they've learned from you. And I feel like they're still learning from you, and that's not going to change. And that's something that they're referencing, and they're saying you've done a great job, you know, reparenting yourself, remothering, refathering, disciplining yourself, you know, making it through life. There's this feeling of you've done a good job, and it's like, if I haven't said it in the physical, I'm saying it through the higher self. Like, there is pride here. Like, I am proud of you. You know what I mean? Like, there is love, even though it's hard to express. It does feel like, I almost feel like I've got a cross over my chest, like I'm blocked from relaying love and nurturing feelings. It does feel that way. I feel boxed in like that, but I can at least say it. But when I'm saying it, it feels boxed in. Like, when I'm saying it, I'm not intensely feeling these huge emotions. But I know it's there. Does that make sense? So let's pull the oracle cards for you guys to end the reading. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. I'll pop that there, and I'll pop that there. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. A message from pile number 1's higher self. What is the message? Oh, we had 2 come out, guys. We have flow. We have flow. And we have purification. I'll take a look at the back of the deck before I get into them. So the back of the deck, we have patience. The back of the deck. Okay. With flow, and then we have the full moon at the top of the card. There's almost this energy of, you may have even clicked on this reading like, okay, knuckle up, let's do some healing, let's do some purging. And there's a message from the higher self of your father, like, there's actually not much to really poke at. There's just this feeling of, don't put pressure on, you know, healing that wound if you still think it's dominant within your energy. Allow yourself to just move and pace yourself and move slowly. Allow the emotions to come through when they need to, and allow them to pass when they need to. Don't hold on to something for too long, because it's something that goes in a spiral. Healing isn't linear, and I'm just hearing like it's okay. It's like when these feelings come over you, it's okay to fall back and cry, and then you can just bounce back. There's this feeling of that, like, you'll purge a lot and then you'll bounce back and you'll feel really bright, because it's like you'll purge a lot of that energy out. There's a lot of weight that falls from you. I feel like every time you do a bout of shadow work or a bout of purging, whether you realize you're purging or not, you may just feel like you're going through a bit of a depression or just going through, you know, a bit of a sensitive time. in those times you're purging. And when you do that, they're telling me like an energetic layer is falling off you. It's falling to the floor. And that's why you bounce back then maybe like a week or two later, feeling a lot more refreshed, feeling a lot lighter. Or maybe it's so subtle that you don't even realize the shift. But either way, you've done a lot of purging in regards to this so far. You've shed so many layers in regards to this so far. And Spirit's saying with this card flow here, it's like allow yourself to flow. This energy of this purification, you may still feel a weight or an absence of them right now, but Spirit's saying in this lifetime you will feel this purification, you will feel light. But don't go chasing that. Don't go trying to run it from these emotions and try and get it all out now. Don't push yourself. Allow it to come naturally. The more it happens, the more lighter you'll feel, okay? And allow yourself to express every emotion. There's this feeling from your father's higher self, like don't feel guilty for feeling anger towards me. You're allowed to feel that emotion. Don't feel guilty for feeling sad, feeling hurt, having these emotions. Allowing them to purge out is going to have you release that. There's almost this feeling of me saying angry things or feeling angry towards this person and then feeling guilty of it. And there's this feeling of them holding their hands up like, you have every right to every emotion that I would have caused through my actions. You have every right to it. Don't deny yourself those emotions. Don't deny yourself the ability to purge that out. You know what I mean? And I feel like you've grown so much, and there's this feeling of don't allow this situation or the way that they've kind of raised you to maybe look at relationships or look at a father, you know, daughter, father, son dynamic. Don't allow that to taint your future. I feel like you're not going to. I feel like you've been doing the work to not allow it to, and they're referencing that, but that's just something that they have within them. Like I don't think I'd be able to live if they, you know, continued harboring that. And I don't feel you're harboring anything. I feel like you're flowing, you're purging. I feel like you've really cleared what needed to. There's a lot of growth that's come from you that making me feel it. There is a pride coming through, and a lot of love in regards to that. And they want me to kind of relay that message, and there's almost this feeling of you put it into words better, so tell them. Like if I say it, I'll mess it up. You put it into words. So there's almost this feeling for them to say through the reading, like, I'm proud of you. If no one said that to you, pile number one, I'm saying it, you know, through the higher self of your father, and I'm saying it because that's how they're making me feel and what they're showing me, the weight of what you've done. I'm saying to you now as Lexi, I am proud of you. I am so proud of your strength, your ability to shift and purge emotions, the weight of that. I know the strength it takes to do that, and you having that with such a pure heart, I'm extremely, extremely proud of you, okay? And I have a lot of love for you too. And it's just a big hug coming through as well, a big hug coming through. So yeah, pile number one, that is the message that I had for you. I really hope that this helped you have closure, helped you heal in some way. I hope I was able to hold space for you. I hope this reading did what it needed to today. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. I will be doing the mother version. Hopefully I'll get it done next week. If not, it'll be the week after. But I will be doing a part 2 with the mother as well, so stay tuned for that if you're interested. And before I end, I have to say, beware of the scammers on Instagram. There's a lot of them pretending to be me, and the Instagram that you see on this screen is the only one I have. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Hey pal 2, welcome to your reading. So we are currently taking a look at what messages the higher self of your father has for you. So you guys chose the blue calcite. I'm going to pop that up here and we are going to get straight in. So pile number 2, please spirit guides, pile number 2. I feel like for at least half of you, or the majority of you, either your father maybe isn't currently in your life, or they may have passed on. There is something that's coming through to that, only because I don't know if you've ever watched Doctor Who, but in the first series of Doctor Who, there was a scene where one of the companions, her father had passed away, and she got to go back in time and see him. You know, she never really grew up with him, but she got to go back in time and see him. And there's almost that feeling here of, like, you know, a parent being lost and connecting, that there is that feeling coming through pile 2. I'll get into it because we'll just see what messages come through, but that's just something that's, you know, I'm feeling quite strongly tapping into this pile number 2. And when I was actually grabbing your crystal, it took me a little bit longer to tap in, when I'm just reading for you guys, it's quite easy because you're with me and I can tap in. Whereas when we're talking to somebody that's ascended, we have to kind of call on their energy to bring them in, if they'd like to. And it took a hot minute to get the energy to kind of come through. So it almost feels like they would have, this could be someone that would have passed on, you know. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2, tap me into the collective of pile number 2 and their father's higher self. What messages does the father's higher self, is this upside down or upright? Am I doing this upright? Okay. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2, messages from pile number 2's father's higher self. Messages from pile number 2's father's higher self. Upside down or upright? Upright. Okay. We have the sun. I'll lay the tarot then I'll channel for you guys. Pile number 2, we have the King of Cups. Pile number 2, we have the Queen of Wands, and they're telling me to put the Empress like next to it. I was only going to do like 4 and then 4, but we'll do that. In the back of the deck, we have the Knight of Swords. Yeah, I'm hearing Love in the Dark by Jessie Reyes, and she sings I Wish I Could Hear Your Voice once again. So I don't know, it could even be a sense of like a parent that's living overseas or far away, but for a lot of you guys, I feel like your father may have passed on. That's them coming through. If that doesn't resonate, this may not be your pile, because this is the energy that I'm channeling. Don't listen to this and then get worried or anything like that. It just wouldn't be your pile if I'm not channeling someone that's passed on. Because that's how it's coming through, or someone's at least at a distance to me in which I can't be physically near them. Because that Jessie Reyes Love in the Dark song keeps coming through. She sings, I wish I could hear your voice once again, and your heartbeat, all of the small things. So that's coming through here. Pile number 2, I'm talking from the sense that they would have passed on. Do you talk to them? Like, you speak out loud to them, or you like may tell them about your day, or if you're going through like a breakup or you're going through something, you may like say it out loud or ask them for guidance. There is a feeling of that, like there's this feeling of, I hear you, like I'm around you, I hear you. I'm being shown a vision of somebody maybe purging or healing and crying in their bed, and I'm being shown at like the foot of the bed. Sorry guys, I'm not going to camera. I'm being shown the foot of the bed, like a father figure sitting with them. The presence of the father feels very calm, but I almost feel like in their day they would have been very like whimsical and fun, or just very funny crack jokes. They feel like they have like a heart of gold, or they feel very like peaceful. They feel very, I don't know whether they're referencing that to let you know they are at peace, if you've ever worried about that. Like, they have passed on, they have ascended. That's why the blue calcite's here, they're saying, but it's they feel very calm and very at peace. It's almost like I'm almost being told when they would have transitioned, it flowed like water. Sometimes I'm being told to say this, so I don't know if someone's worried about maybe their father not passing on, and did they pass on correctly, or were they stuck, were they earthbound? Like, no, there's this feeling of they transitioned very, very peacefully. It happened very peacefully for them. I don't know whether you light candles for them, or like a parent or someone in the family lights candles. There's something about that coming through. Pile number 1. Let me get some more. Let me look at the tarot to allow the messages to come through. 9 of Wands, the Sun, the King of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and the Empress. There's a lot of pride when referencing you. A lot of pride. There's almost this feeling of like watching you grow up, so that there's almost like reminiscing and looking to you. I'm literally hearing the Up song, Up, the movie Up. There's a reference of that, like I keep hearing that. Also, there may be a pet that passed on recently, and they're saying they're with them. It feels like a dog, but apply it to any pet. They could just be showing me the dog in reference to pet, but that's what I'm being shown. Them with a pet and saying they're with me. But they keep referencing, I don't know whether you didn't grow up with them, maybe they passed quite early on, but there's this reference of, I've been here, like I've watched every milestone, or I've watched everything, and I've been here and I've guided you through that. Like I've always been here. Like, just because and there's this feeling coming through of, just because I can't physically touch you doesn't mean I'm not still parenting you, doesn't mean that I'm not still fathering you, doesn't mean that I'm not still in your life, doesn't mean that I'm not still supporting you. It's just happening. And they're like shaking their body. It's like, it's just happening without the body. Like, I'm still here. I'm still doing that. And you can call on me when you need me, you know. That's something that's coming through. They're very focused on bringing you to happiness. I don't know whether recently you've gone through maybe a dark night of the soul. Maybe you've been doing a lot of healing. Maybe you've been doing a lot of purging. They're walking you through it. I'm seeing them lighting candles for you. Like, they're showing me spiritually, like I'm lighting candles and walking you through it. I don't know whether you burn lavender or essential oil, but they're referencing like oils, and they actually help soothe you. So they're telling you to keep, you know, burning them. And there's something about that coming through. Maybe it's just something that you do or something that they did, but they're referencing it because they keep referencing lavender. I don't know whether you smell lavender, you use lavender herbs, you burn lavender essential oil. There's something about that. Someone's having trouble sleeping and they're referencing that will really help you, like just before bed, lavender oil, whether it's just like, you know, putting a little bit on your clothing or maybe just like burning some before you go to sleep. That little bubble that you heard there was actually my essential oil lamp, and it went like that. So that's a little confirmation. Something about that, whether it's migraines you're suffering with, insomnia, or you're just having a hard time sleeping, there's a reference of that. Shutting the curtains, putting essential oil on and allowing it to kind of like take you there. Or maybe you're having trouble meditating and they're referencing that as well. But they're very referenced on bringing you to peace. With this Sun card here, there's this energy of them watching over you, but there's this Sun card and the Empress card here, and there's almost this feeling with the Nine of Wands, like you guys almost shutting out the world or not wanting to bring anyone into your life or into your circle. Maybe this passing was recent and you've been grieving it, or maybe you've just been purging a lot, working through a lot of heavy emotions with the Nine of Wands. So it's almost like you created a fort within yourself and you're not allowing anyone to come in. And I feel like the higher self of your father is working with you to open back up to life's joys, because there's a lot of connections that you're going to make in this life, pile number 2, or there's certain people that you're going to meet that are going to bring you a lot of joy, and there's a lot of light and happiness on your path. And like, your father's very intent on walking you there. There's this feeling of like, I'm walking with you, I'm bringing them to that, I'm bringing them to this. They're showing me like the sun in the distance and like a path, and like you walking it and them like walking beside you, like I'm bringing them to it, I'm bringing them to the happiness, I'm guiding them, you know what I mean, I'm helping them do that. That's something that they're referencing. I don't know whether somebody used to sing, dance, or just like act a lot, or like, you know, like act out like movies or whatever, or just sing and dance and be very frivolous. Or maybe you were like that when you were younger, you're not so much like it now. There's this feeling of wanting to help bring that back, that inner child that was carefree and dancing around and singing. There's this feeling of like the fatherly responsibility to help bring that back, to get you to sing again, to get you to dance again. Maybe you guys used to sing professionally or dance professionally, or maybe you did it as a hobby or just something that you like to do on the side, and then you just kind of stopped. They're determined on getting you like back on your feet, dancing again or singing again. There's something, and that could even just be in reference of being in that lighter state, but there's this energy like they're walking you through it, they're guiding you through it. I feel like you feel like somebody that is very emotional, you feel very watery, you feel like someone that takes on a lot of emotion. There is that feeling, and I'm being told that what you're learning in this lifetime is like processing deep emotions and allowing yourself to kind of not get swayed by other people and their energies and the world around you. I feel like sometimes you feel like you're drowning in water. That's how they're making me feel. And there's this feeling of like you're learning to be the one controlling the tides and allowing what isn't serving you to not dictate your frequency. And it's funny because they reference to me, I've got a video that I've written down to create over the next couple of weeks, and it's all about becoming an empowered empath, and I hope to get that up over the next month. And they kind of like nudge me and they go, that'll be good for them, that'll be good for them. So they're referencing that. I feel like they give you little nudges, like whether it's like an Instagram post or YouTube, like you almost find like the right footage will come when you need it. Like you need a pick me up, you need a laugh, and this clip from a TV show shows up, or even something to do with them, like something comes up, like their favorite song, it just comes up on your timeline randomly. You're like, how? There's this feeling of the way that they show messages to you and the way that they connect to you is through music. So you may be clairaudient, so they'll play music, or you just be in a store, you know, getting some milk or whatever, and then it's like this song that's like their song, or a song that was from your childhood that reminds you of them, it starts playing. Or it's like, it may not even be a song you've ever heard before, but the lyrics feel like they're speaking to you. And there's something about whenever the song's playing, they're not playing randomly, listen to the lyrics when they're playing, because I'm almost being shown someone like never hearing the song before, but these lyrics are playing, and it's almost like they're saying those words through those lyrics, and it's like you're hearing it, and I feel like you're feeling something, or you're getting emotional, but then you're like, oh no, that's just a song. But it's like, no, I'm literally, that's how I connect. I'm speaking to you through that. Or they may even connect with you through pick a cards as one of your spirit guides. They may connect with you, you know, just showing you those videos in like a humorous way to lighten your energy. There's a lot of that. Or you may, like, I feel like you find, there's this feeling of the way they connect with you is you find the right things at the right time. You find that right post at the right time, and it's a message from them, and they're saying, you know it within, and they're saying, don't deny it, don't feel like you're going crazy, like that's me, like that's me doing my job, like, you know, I'm coming to make you laugh, or I'm coming to guide you in some way, like that's still me. I'm doing that for you. Some of you guys may even get visitations from them in dreams, and they're saying it's not just a random dream, that is a visitation, because spirit can come to us in dreams. I've had it done, you know, with myself. It happens sometimes with my spirit guides, and I feel that they do come to you in dreams. It's almost a feeling of maybe when they passed over, or not long after they passed over, there's this feeling of they may have showed up in your dream. That's something that's coming through as well. So I'm going to pull 3 more cards, because I'm going to do the same tarot cards as the other piles, and then we'll get into your oracle cards. It's 11 minutes past on the clock, so you may have been seeing 11 a lot, so that's a little indicator. It's 11 minutes past 2. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number, oh my god, and you're number 2. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. What message does pile number 2's higher self? There's almost this feeling of them wanting you to smile. It's like, let me see, I just hear, let me see those pearly whites, like, let me see that smile, you know what I mean, like, smile. And there's almost this, I'm being shown as well, like, video footage that you may have of them before they would have passed, or like when you were young. There's a feeling of that they're referencing, that maybe you could like dig up and watch, or maybe you have digged up and have been watching it, but there's a reference to that. And some of you guys may do something every year on their birthday to still celebrate them, and they're referencing that and giving gratitude for that. They're very aware of that. Some of you guys may even have a piece from them on your altar when you meditate in the morning. They're referencing that. It's something that was done in like memory that they're referencing, and it's like a gratitude coming through, you know. Pile number 2. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number, they seem really lovely. We have the Magician. Pile number 2, we have the Knight of Swords. I just heard the Hannah Montana song. I don't know if you always used to watch that, but I heard the Hannah Montana song, Life's What You Make It, so let's make it rock. I just heard that. Pile number 1. Oh, we have the Lovers. Okay. We have the Lovers, and then the back of the deck we have the 7 of Pentacles. So there's this reference, like they're literally seeing you as the Empress here. They're seeing you as someone that's so full of love. You have so much potential, and there's this energy with the Magician then. And then the Knight of Swords and the Lovers. There's this energy here of like, you are very powerful. Understand and know your power, because you can create whatever it is that you want. That I don't know whether you've just learned about manifesting or the law of attraction, but they're almost telling you to go through that and co-create. It's like, I'll, you know, be with you while you're doing that. Like, you can open up to your spirit guides and, you know, to the higher self of your father, and ask them to create with you the life that you want. Because there's almost this feeling of feeling quite low, or maybe wanting something but you don't have it yet, you don't attain it yet, and there's this feeling of like they're kind of hyping you up in a way that they would have done in the physical. Like, you can have anything that you want, but you have to believe that, you have to see that strength within you. They're seeing you as the Empress from Spirit, and Spirit, you know, they don't lie, so they're showing you coming through as the Empress, somebody that's very abundant. They have all of that in them. They're seeing you as very capable. And they're saying you have a very pure heart, and that's where a lot of, you know, your gifts come from. That's where a lot of your light comes from. And I'm being told that that heart can literally move mountains. Use it to manifest. Use it to manifest what it is that you want in that, reference in that. Because with the Lovers card and the Knight of Swords here, they're almost referencing with it. This Knight of Swords may have been stood in as like a connection you may have had that was over and out very quickly, and they're almost referencing like, let it fly by, there's more to come. Let this person run away. It's like, it's their loss, it's their loss, you know what I mean? You have a beautiful heart, and to not live life without that beautiful heart, well, that shouldn't, you know, that wouldn't be fun, you know. There's a reference of that. It wouldn't be fun to not have a chip of that, you know. So it's their loss. Allow them to walk away. They can take the drama with them. You do have love up ahead. There's this energy of you do have love. You do have a love that's going to treat you right up ahead. You know what I mean? And anyone that doesn't honor you, I just heard, give them the boot. You know, give them the boot. Like, get them out. Like, we don't want them here. You're bad. Like, that's what I'm hearing. So there's a reference of that. And that I feel like the highest self of your father is working to get you to that point where you're in the same frequency as a soulmate or a connection. And the Seven of Pentacles here, there's a reference of like this, I don't know whether there's something you want to work on, or you may have like a lot of ideas of what you want to do career wise, but you can't seem to home in on them. And there's an energy here with the Seven of Pentacles, like not to stress, and to take, like, say now you have something and it seems like really far away or really big. It's like, chip it up into small bits and take it slowly. There's a reference of that. So like, say now you want to create your own business. It's like, okay, where do we go from here? Well, do we need to take a course? Do we need to save up money? Do we need to, you know, and it's little things like that. And it's like, right, okay, right now we need to save up money first before we start this business. Okay, so over, you know, the next 3 months, I'll save up as much as I can, and then we'll move forward again. They're saying baby steps. And then once you've saved up enough money, it's like, okay, what products do I need to buy? Or what course do I need to take? Or what do I need to do now moving forward? Like, what's the next step? Don't stress over all the little details. Do it one at a time. There's a message from your father's higher self in regards to that. So I'm going to pull some oracle cards now. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2. Did someone play Animal Crossing a lot, or have you been playing Animal Crossing a lot? Only reason I'm saying is, when I was younger, I used to play the Let's Go to the City one on the Wii. And I don't know whether it's on all the games, but on the one I used to play, there was like balloons that used to kind of like fly through the town, and then you'd have a slingshot and you'd like shot them. And there's a feeling of that, like they just showed me that and made me feel how I felt when I was younger playing it. So I don't know whether someone plays Animal Crossing, but they're referencing that. They may have even played it with you. There's something even about, like, they're taking me to the Wii now, and like, you know, the Mii's, the small little characters you'd have, and you'd play like Wii Sports and stuff. They're taking me there. So you may have done that with them. They're referencing that. They're referencing like the childhood being more of like a happy time, or they're referencing to look back at the silver linings and the happiness. Like, that's why we come to Earth. Like, there's this feeling of course, grieve, and of course feel these feelings, but know that we come to Earth to love and make connections. And they're referencing, like, rejoice in the beautiful connection that it was. Oh, I'm getting emotional, but they're saying to rejoice in that. And there's this feeling of them kind of like putting that arm around you, like, we came what we did what we came to do. You know what I mean? We had that beautiful love, beautiful connection, and we did that. And now it's like, you can carry that on. Oh God, okay. They're saying you can carry that on with your children then, you know what I mean? And carry that on with the other people in your life. It's kind of like they're passing you that the happy memories and the love, and they're like, pass it on. You know what I mean? Pass it on. Have you ever heard that thing of like the penny? And it's like, when you find a penny, pick it up, and then you like have good luck all day, and then it's like, when you pass it on, you pass the good luck on to someone else. I don't know if you've ever heard that. My nan always used to talk about that with me. So there's a reference to that, and like love, like pass the love on. You know what I mean? Pass it on. And rejoice in the connections that are with you now. That there's a feeling of that. Pile number 2. Oh, the card's just falling on the floor. We have power. One more card, please, Spirit Guides. One more card. What is the message from pile number one's higher self? Pile number one's father's higher self, sorry. What is the message from pile number one's father's release? I feel like this is something that you're still purging with this release card, the connection with them, but I also feel like there's a release going on in your energy field. It does feel like they're almost tapping me into where you're at right now when I'm being shown like a transition. And there's this message with the leaves falling, like let the old leaves fall. You know, whether it's this person you're purging out, let them walk away, let the old leaves fall. Because why did the leaves fall? Because they're no longer needed. And spring is coming soon and they're going to have brand new leaves. So to make room for the new leaves, we have to kind of let go of the old. Otherwise, all the trees would have all of the old, you know, crustier leaves that have kind of died off and they'd be stuck. But they fall to make way for the new buds that come in the spring. So there's this feeling of they're almost guiding you through a transition. They're referencing you going through a transition right now. And with the power card here, again, they're taking me to your heart and saying your heart moves mountains. Never be ashamed of your sensitivity. Never be ashamed of your emotions. Never be ashamed of how hard you love, because it's your superpower. And there's a reference of waking up to what that really means and understanding your power and where it comes from. And it comes from your heart, and they're referencing that and using it to fuel you and catapult you forward. But there's this feeling of taking it easy right now, because you are in this transitional phase right now. And we have flow here at the back of the deck. So we've got the full moon at the top. We're talking about releasing emotions, and we have flow. They're saying to flow right now. Do you see that glitter going over the lake? They're talking about flowing, you know, allowing these things to fall away. I know it's not painless, they're saying, but allow it to fall away so new can take its place. You've got a lot of beautiful memories to make, is the message from the higher self of your father, pile number 2. I'm also being taken to like a keyring, like a gold keyring, of like maybe an animal. I don't know why I'm being shown like a penguin or like a bear or something like that, but I'm also being shown something small and fluffy that you would have maybe had like a little, it's grey. I'm being shown literally like a grey fluffy little bear or something like that represents your childhood or something. They're referencing that. It's only going to be for one or two of you, but that came through as well. I don't know why I just got shown green eyes. I don't know whether they had green eyes, but there's something about green eyes. So pile number 2, that is what I had for you. I really hope that this reading was able to guide you, and I hope it resonated for you, and I hope it did what it needed to. I hope you got what you wanted out of the reading. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. Please be aware of the scammers on my Instagram. This Instagram up here is the only one that I have, so please don't get fooled by the scammers posing as me on Instagram. And I will have the part 2, which will be the higher self of the mother, up either next week or the week after. So I will be doing the part 2 to this. So thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pile 3, welcome to your reading. So we are currently taking a look at what messages the higher self of your father has for you. So you guys chose this jade crystal. I'm going to pop that over here, and we're going to get straight in. I'm going to begin with tarot, and then we'll move on to your oracle cards. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. I just heard bittersweet. I just heard that word, bittersweet. We'll get into it, but that's just like, it just came in straight away, like bittersweet. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of pile number 3 and their father's higher selves. What messages does the higher self of pile number 3's father have for them? What is the message for pile number 3's father? 3 of Wands. Okay. What is the message from pile number 3's father's higher self? We have the 7 of Wands. Pile number 3. What is the message from pile number 3's father's higher self? We have the 7 of Cups. What is the message from pile number 3's father's higher self? What is the message for pile number 3? And we have the 7 of Swords. I'm going to clarify underneath it, telling me to do it straight away and then just channel. So that's what I'm going to do. Pile number 3, please. Spirit guides, what is the message from pile number 3's father's higher self? What is the message from pile number 3's father's higher self? We have the Magician. What is the message from pile number 3's father's higher self? What is the message from pile number 3's father's higher self? What is the message? We have the 3 of Cups reversed. What is the message from pile number 3's father's higher self? We have the 2 of Pentacles reversed. A lot of conflicting energies here, pile number 3. It almost feels like whether they were in your life or whether they watched from the sidelines, there may have been some drama or a lot that went on. I'm hearing like, I don't know if there's a song that says, look at the mess we've made, but there's a feeling of that. And I don't mean like they're saying to you, I mean like that's just like a lyric coming through of like, there's a carpet and there's a lot under the carpet. Like, do you get what I mean? Like the rug, there's been a lot brushed under the rug. And I almost feel like your childhood, pile number 3, may have been quite tumultuous. There would have been a lot that might have gone on, and they're referencing that. And I feel like they were almost taken for a ride, taken for, you know, they were in that spin with you. Does that make sense? Like I'm being shown you in your childhood being caught up in a tornado, and I'm almost being shown them being caught up in it too. And there's a guilt, like, it should never have went that way. Like there's just there's a lot of fog and a lot to clear out. Like there's so much. I don't know whether there's a lot that's been unsaid between you and your father, and I'm going to get into it. Let me just pull one more card, but that's something that's coming through. It's very hard for me to wade through it because I'm being shown, like, I'll show you the image, like I'll explain it to you. There's like a tornado, and there's a lot of like smog, there's a lot of fog, it's all grey, and there's little bits of things all in this tornado, but then there you are as a child, but then there your parents are, but then there other people are, and you're all getting swept away, and there's so much going on, and it feels a little karmic, and you're all kind of spinning around. So me trying to ground into it and tap in, it may be a little bit hard at the beginning, so bear with me, but that's what they're referencing the minute that I tap in. Pile number, I'm hearing Mockingbird by Eminem. Pile number 3. Pile number 3. We have Judgment. On the back of the deck, we have the Knight of Pentacles. There's almost a feeling of like, when you were born or the childhood or whatever went on, there was so much that went on that it went by in a flash, because they're clicking their fingers like that and they're referencing, we were there, this storm came, and now we're here, and now it's like, what, like it's just this tangled web that we have, you know, like that's how it feels. And there's regrets and there's sorrow, but there's also like a stuck feeling with this Knight of Pentacles, like, but I don't, like, I almost don't know what to do now. Like, what do I do? How do I patch up this kind of, like, what do I do? We're going to get into it. Let me get into the cards. So, 3 of Wands and the Magician, I'll read them that way. I almost feel like they had a set intention when I feel like they had you and maybe your siblings of how they wanted you to be raised. And I feel like it just went south, like it just didn't go to plan. They had an idea of how it was going to go, they had an idea of how it was going to manifest, and then I just feel like something came that feels karmic in nature, that would have been to do with one or both of your parents, that created this tornado that everyone got caught up in. And there's a feeling of that, and it's almost like I was still young-minded in the sense that I don't even feel like I was mentally or emotionally equipped to deal with it. And because I was stuck in my own turmoil, it was hard then through that fog to look at, you know, you, and I'm saying the same children as if you had siblings. Like it was hard to think of the impact then that it was having on you. It was almost like I didn't see it at the time because we were all being swept up in it. It's like I didn't see how it was affecting you. I don't know whether you know, your father had like a volatile relationship with the parent. Maybe there were substance abuse issues from them. Maybe it was substance abuse issues with the mother. There's so much going on that I feel like their mind's racing, and they're still, like, they can't quite they feel like they're drifting, like they can't quite make sense of everything that's gone on. Because they don't feel like they lead with emotion, they lead with practicality. So then leading with practicality and seeing all of that, the way through it is to kind of feel it. And what I'm feeling about you is it went straight through your heart. I feel like you felt a lot through your childhood. I feel like I'm hearing abandonment wounds. Maybe they stepped away to kind of clear their head, and I'm seeing abandonment wounds coming from you. I'm seeing, you know, you taking on a lot, maybe wanting to heal a parent, you know, having that broken bird syndrome and wanting to heal a parent, or maybe one of your parents was narcissistic and wanting to purge and help them, or maybe they were going through substance abuse issues and wanting to heal them. There's a lot of that. I feel like you almost took on, not you as a child, because I taken me to you as a child, I feel like you took on not only your mother's baggage but your father's as well, or maybe other people around you. Like, you took on a lot of baggage. Maybe it was a sibling. There was something about you taking on a lot and you having to grow up and ground yourself because no one was doing it for you, because they were all getting swept up. Because, you know, I was saying about the tornado, when I tap into you as a child, it's like everyone's swirling around. Everyone's dealing with all of these emotions. No one can quite get their feet on the ground because this tornado's taking them. And the way that everybody can ground and get back on their feet is to actually feel it. And no one's feeling it. Everyone's projecting onto each other. Everyone's pointing their fingers at each other. No one's healing. No one's doing the inner work. And then you're here quite young. It feels like you were doing it quite young, and you almost like felt it, the weight of all of it, and centered yourself in the middle of it, and almost acted like a guiding light for the people around you too, to try and help them center themselves. And when they couldn't, it was almost like you took that as your responsibility. Like, that's my fault that I couldn't heal them, or it's my fault that they're not in my life, or it's my, like, there's this feeling of a lot that happened because you were the only one, or maybe you and a sibling were the only ones purging that. There's this feeling of like you took on a lot of responsibility that wasn't yours. Maybe you had to parent siblings. Maybe you had to, again, like purging emotions that weren't even yours. Taking on guilt that was not yours to take on as a child. Like, there's so much of that, and they're referencing it, and there's this feeling from the higher self, like, because I do feel for a lot of you, your father's still on the earth plane, for the majority of you, and there's this feeling like in the physical they still don't quite understand the weight of what you've done, but they will understand it when they pass on, or maybe in their later years, maybe you'll have a chat, but there's this energy like they wouldn't even quite be able to construe it because they weren't able to do it themselves, so they can't quite put it in their mind how you've done it. Do you know what I mean? Because they weren't walking your shoes. So it's like them passing on, I feel like that's when, you know, they ascend to their higher self. That's when they're going to see the weight that you've done, because the higher self's coming through like you've weathered and a swearing. Do they swear a lot? There's a swearing coming through. Like, you've weathered an effing storm. Like, you have really, like, it's almost like the storm's going on and you just like lift your hand up and just halt it. Like, no more. Like, we're stopping this, and it's stopping with me. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not giving birth to children and they're getting caught up in this storm. This is stopping here. I don't care what I'm clearing out. I don't care whose mess I'm clearing out. There's a lot of it. I'm gonna purge it out because this stops. You know what I mean? And it's almost like your soul coming down didn't have a choice, because with the jade crystal here, you have such a pure heart. You feel like a born healer, and I feel like that's something why you chose to incarnate in the, you know, in the family that you did. It was to kind of put a stop to it, or at least attempt to. And it's like you've passed it with flying colors and you've done it. And there's this reference from the higher self of your father. They're looking at you with this 3 of Wands and the Magician, like you've alchemized. You've literally shifted decades worth of karma and trauma. You've done that. And there's this pride coming through. Like, there is this pride, and there's this feeling like, I'm so sorry that I can't be there for you the way that I should be in the physical. I'm sorry that you had to fight this on your own, because with the 7 of Swords and the 3 of Cups, they keep talking about you and what you've had to go through. Their higher self has been around you and watching the whole time, similar in a sense to pile number 1, where their higher self has been it's similar to like pile number 1's father's higher self, where they were kind of watching and learning. So it's almost like the higher self of your father's like learning through you how you've alchemized that. Because with the 7 of Swords and the 3 of Cups, you may have had to stand up to something. You may have had to like really put in boundaries. Maybe one of the parents, or maybe they've acted in a narcissistic manner and you've had to stand up. And a lot of the times it was like you were fighting these battles and it felt like you were on your own. And they're saying you didn't really need anyone around you, the way your heart was so big, but I'm being told you had like an army of spirit around you, like protecting and standing your ground and having you, you know, raise your voice and say what needs to be said. There's a feeling of that, but I am being told with the Three of Cups, there's this feeling of them maybe leaving you alone to deal with that. And there's this feeling of, I have to say, in the physical, if they are still alive, they don't allow themselves to process emotions very well, feel very earthy, very practical, and they do brush over a lot. Do you remember I was saying about the rug? Like there's a rug and they're brushing it under. They're not allowing themselves to like really tap into the weight that you've had to endure. And there's almost this feeling of them either being none the wiser or not even just not realizing the extent of it. There's this feeling like maybe you were left with a parent that had substance abuse issues and they walked out, or they had to like dip out because it was getting too much for them and like left you to deal with something. And there is a reference from the higher self, like you were never supposed to deal with that. You never should have had to deal with that. And yes, okay, you know, you've learned how to heal, you've learned how to alchemize, you've learned boundaries, you've learned how to stand up against, you know, narcissists, you've learned all of that. Yeah, okay, you've learned these lessons, but at the same time, as a child, that is not something that you were supposed to go through. You were supposed to be nurtured. And I feel, Pal 3, and I'm getting emotional as I feel it, there wasn't a lot of nurturing for you as a child. Like, not a lot of people were nurturing you. It was almost like spirit raised you and you raised yourself. There was nurturing coming through from spirit when there was the absence of it in the physical. I almost feel like there was a pet maybe around you that acted like that as well, that really nurtured you. But I feel like you really had to raise yourself. And I want that there's this feeling coming through of they don't want you to take on your mother, your father, your grandparents, your siblings, whatever the case. They don't want you to take on their trauma in the sense of like, oh, well, I was never loved. I was never loved. It may have felt like that, and they're honoring that you would feel that way. But it was never the intention. And what happened was there was a whole lot of, they're referencing it like broken people. And when I say broken, it doesn't mean broken forever. It just means people that had a lot of wounding, that didn't know how to heal it. And I feel like you would have been one of the first ones to really carry that weight. And there's this reference of you were loved, but everyone was so caught up with their own pain and trauma and hiding and brushing everything under the carpet and leaving it under the carpet and all of that going on, that it was almost like you were overlooked. But it wasn't that you weren't cared for. It was just that the weight was so heavy for people to deal with, and you're such a strong person for being able to feel it. But it's just this feeling of they're taking responsibility, that there was a lack of how this was affecting you, how this was affecting you as a child, how this was affecting you as a teen. They're referencing that there has been a lack of that. And it may be in the physical, them or your parents, your mother deny that. They may say, oh, you were raised fine, or you're being dramatic. And there's a feeling from the higher self of your father, like, you're not being dramatic at all. You've really weathered a storm and you are entitled to feel every emotion that you feel. There's a feeling of you were loved, but you were loved to the best capacity that the people around you could feel that with. But there was so much wounding that was causing this storm from all of them that it was hard for them to really nurture you the way that you needed to, you know? And that's something that's coming through. I feel like you either went through a long period on your own, or you've never really had like a full healthy relationship, or there was just like you felt alien to your family, or you felt alone in regards to your family. You felt like you had to fight battles on your own. You felt like you were left to your own devices, or you just feel like it was on you. It was always on you to bring your family out of poverty into riches. It was always on you to bring love to your family or healing to your family. There's this feeling of you taking the reins of siblings, and it's like it's my job to raise them, and they're saying you've done a wonderful job, but it wasn't your job, you know? apologies for crying, but I'm feeling the emotion. There is that feeling coming through. You did a brilliant job, you did a wonderful job, but it wasn't your job to take on, and they're referencing that. But there's almost this thank you that you did take those reins. I don't know whether you were protecting a sibling at one point in your childhood, but there's a gratitude coming through that you did, if that's something. Or there's a sibling that you've kind of like raised alongside you, and they're referencing that you've done a beautiful job with it, and not to like worry, because you've, even in this lifetime, before, whether you've had children or not, I almost feel like before you even have your own children, before you had your own children, you had kind of already stopped the pain and the tornado for that sibling, because it's like you've taught them different, you've taught them to do different, you've taught them to process emotions different, you've taught them to process their pain different, you've taught them to process that different, and because of that you've already stopped something. There's so much you've already put a stop to. They're saying it's not even a storm anymore. It's like, at least for you, it still kind of is for the people around you, but it's not for you. I'm being told like you've really alchemized that, and I feel like you're kind of shining that sun out for the people that are still getting caught up in that storm, to kind of maybe learn through you and reach that sun for themselves. But they're saying that it's not your responsibility for anybody to do that, you know. With the Seven of Cups and the Two of Pentacles reversed, there is almost this energy of like Two of Pentacles reversed. It's like, I feel like, I really do feel like the father figure wouldn't have been around as much as they should have been, or they would have dipped at one point, because there's almost this feeling like I'm juggling so much, my emotions, like my work, my own love life, like I'm juggling all of this, and it's getting so much, and there's almost this feeling of like I'm carrying a plate. I'm already feeling all of these heavy emotions. I've got my job, I've got my kids, I've got everything on here, and there's almost a feeling at one point you fell off that plate, and they're referencing that. It's like they had so much going on, they didn't even realize that you'd kind of fallen off that plate. And by that I mean they're kind of referencing that through the tornado, it's almost like they let slip of you. They let slip of the connection with you. They let slip of the love that you two were like sharing back and forth. They let slip of it, of how they wanted to raise you. It's almost like the connection dwindled, and there's a regret. There is a regret. I feel like you may think like, I'm getting emotional. Oh, it's heavy emotion, because they're really feeling it. There is this regret, because I'm feeling your emotion too, and it's just this feeling of like, well, why? You know, why couldn't you have just been there for me? Like, I needed you. And they're making me feel it, and they're referencing it, and I feel like that's a mirrored feeling with them, and they're saying you may not even realize that it's mirrored, but it is. There's a wound there in regards to like, why weren't you with me? But there's a wound within them, like, why wasn't I with them? Why did I allow that to fall off my plate? Why did I prioritize something else over this? And there's this feeling with this, I'm hearing Rihanna, what now? When I'm being shown the Knight of Pentacles, like, well, what now? I can't turn back time, so what now? You know, what do I do now? I don't know what to do. There's a feeling of that coming through pile number 3, because with the Seven of Swords and Judgment as well, it's like they are working with you in spirit. I feel like you've been wronged by people while you were dealing with this tornado, and I feel like you were dealing with this tornado a lot through your childhood, maybe even through your teens, and you've done such a brilliant job, I'm being told, of working through it. But it's just this energy of, while you were working through it, your beautiful heart that you had, people saw it and kind of took advantage of it. And I'm being told as well that saying to say to you, like, it wasn't that you weren't good enough when people were hurting you, or people were taking advantage of you, or people were taken from you. It wasn't that you weren't good enough. You had so much love, and you learned to have, oh my god, I'm purging, because I'm taking on the energy, so I'm like purging with you so I can hold space for you and allow it to release. But I'm being told in your childhood, pile number 3, you learned to have such a big heart, because it was like you saw so much pain, and instead of allowing it to turn you dark, turn you cold, it made your heart grow and overextend. And you had, you know, your heart's always been so pure and full of light, but it grew so big, and you wanted to heal everyone, because you saw the mess, and you naturally, because that's your heart, that's the beautiful person that you are, you wanted to fix that. And there's this feeling of like you then going through life because maybe you felt like you couldn't heal certain people caught up in that tornado. You then took it as your role to heal, relationships, friendships, other people. And I feel like the same thing happened, that people kind of took from you then, because you had this endless supply of love. So they was like, oh, I'll take from it then, I'll take from it then, and they'll take from it. And there's this feeling of the people that have wronged you, the people that have hurt you, they didn't hate you, they didn't dislike you. I feel like you've taken that on as like rejection, the same way that you may have taken it on with the father. Like you've taken it on as rejection, like, I'm not good enough. Why wasn't I good enough? Why wasn't my love good enough? Maybe I need to give more. Why wasn't it good enough? And they're referencing you were good enough, you were too much in ways. You had such a beautiful heart that the people that you were drawing in were broken birds. And they were wanting that healing energy, they were wanting that loving energy, but they couldn't match it back. And because of that, they take advantage, because you were very healing to them, because you had that beautiful heart. You literally chose the jade crystal, which connects to the heart chakra. Like you had so much love for them, and it's like when they stepped away from you, or maybe when they abandoned, it wasn't that you did anything wrong, and they want you to, like, they're like, right now, take that off, let that weight come off you. It wasn't that I left because you did anything wrong. It wasn't because of, your relationships and friendships falling apart, or people being mean to you. It wasn't that you did anything wrong. It was because your light was so bright, it was shining a light on their shadows, and it was like, oh my god, I don't quite know what to do with this, because it's such a, you have such a strong heart that needs to be matched up with another strong heart. And if you were to, it's almost like your light would consume people to the point that they'd either project onto you their insecurities or their pains, or they would just like literally run away, like frightened, you know what I mean? Like it would come through that way. And there's this energy of like, this big heart that you still have it. I feel like you've learned boundaries. You've learned to put in your boundaries. You've really been working on self. I can see that. But what I'm being told is that big heart needs to be matched with another big heart. And there's someone coming for you that has that pure heart just like yours. And that's a message coming through. And I feel like some of you guys may work in the healing professions because you have this endless supply of love. And they're saying, don't ever worry about it droughting out. It's not going to drought out. But just make sure when you are giving it out, it is going to the people that respect it. It is going to the people that know what to do with it or want to work on themselves so they can kind of match it. Don't give it, I'm not saying don't give it away freely, because we want to love people, but don't feel like you've got to fix people. Like it's not your job to fix people. When we work as a healer, we're not actually healing the other person, we're holding space. Do you understand what I mean? Like for example, I didn't go into this reading thinking I'm going to heal everybody watching, but I thought they can have a cry, they can purge, they can allow it all to come out, and I will hold space for them while they do, and I'll give guidance so they can take that and allow it to alchemize. And that's what you do. And I feel like you're learning that, or have learned that, and you've held space for a lot of people. You have the purest heart, and they're so proud of that. Like this murky water of pain and trauma and even abuse. Like I'm being shown so much, and you're like, a child, huge heart, didn't get tainted at all. And to this day of even watching this video, your heart's even got even bigger. It's like multiplied. And they're like, that's strength. Like, do you understand how powerful you are, how beautiful that is, that you've held onto that and you still have that and you still choose to walk with love? That's huge, they're referencing. You've raised yourself so well, and I'm being told you raised yourself, but you also were raised by the divine. And that's why you have such a pure heart, because it's like you taught yourself what love was, and you learned what love was as per the universe, as per what spirit was, as spirit taught you that. I feel like you learned that energetically. I feel like you've always been open to spirit like that, and because of that you have a very strong and true sense of what love is. And they're saying savor it, because there's a lot of people in life that never know what that is. They just never know what that is. They never get to tap into it, and you've had that. And they're referencing it, how golden it is, and how that's why people were so drawn to you and wanting to take, or maybe wanting to dim it, because it was frightening them or it was purging them, but it wasn't anything wrong with you. Don't take that as there was anything wrong with you. You know what I mean? There was just so much. And I'm being told to be in your life, Pal 3, you've got to come correct in the sense that people that have been in your life, whether it was you departure in their life, maybe there was an argument between you two, or maybe you just being there for them. You've like held so much space for them. Like, people meeting you leave you being a completely different person, because when someone's coming into your life, the closer they get to you, the more they have to alchemize, and it takes a very strong heart to be able to pull back and forth someone that's done that alchemizing too, and that's your frequency. So it's like you're going to be drawing in people very soon, I'm being told, that are on that same frequency, that hold that same love and that same light, and don't get frightened by it, and are able to kind of be at that, because there's almost this feeling of like a language barrier of energy. No one's speaking the same language as me, no one sees the world like I do, and I'm being told they're coming, like your tribe is coming, people are coming in that are going to fill that void for you, and there's this feeling of, I'm sorry I couldn't. That's coming through, I'm sorry I couldn't. And they're in this stuck energy in their life right now. Knight of Pentacles, it's like they still hold and mirror the wound of like you and you not being there, and I can't believe I let that slip, and there's something, I prioritize something else when I know damn well I shouldn't have. And I feel like they talk like that, I know damn well I shouldn't have. They're referencing it. But they're saying, hopefully I can make it up in spirit, and I can, you know, guide you through that in spirit. There's that reference. But with the Knight of Pentacles, there's this feeling of like, in their thoughts, they do think of like reaching out, or they do think of being there more, you know what I mean, if they're in and out. But then there's also this feeling of like, they stop themselves. Why do they stop themselves, Spirit? It's that they're still caught up in the whirlwind. They're still caught up in the whirlwind. They're still spinning around. You're on the floor alchemizing, you know, building the town up from scratch that's just been demolished, and you're building it up, and they're still swirling around, and they're just kind of like, well, I wouldn't even know how to get there. You know what I mean? Would they? There's also a feeling like, do they even want to talk to me? Do they even, you know what I mean? There's this feeling of, from a practical lens, I feel like they may be like earth sign, like this earthy energy. There's this feeling of like, well, they've kind of done well for themselves. They've, you know, they're fine without me. I would be a bit of a bane to them now. There's almost this feeling of like the damage may have been done, or they moved on now. They don't need me. They don't want me. There's a feeling of that, and they're kind of rigid in that. And there's almost a feeling of like, even if you were in each other's lives, there's this feeling of like rigidness, like, well, where do we go from here? There's a feeling of that. Where do we go from here? I don't know how to initiate that. Where would we go from here? You know what I mean? How do you make up from that? And again, then those thoughts, it's like they won't act on it. They put it under the rug. But then it causes, there's so much, I don't know whether your father may have put on some weight. Only reason why, sometimes when we put on some weight, it's because it's normally to do with like the solar plexus, but it's like energy within us. Like, it can kind of accumulate, and it can kind of like store in the body sometimes as like fat. So there's like a feeling like that, like they may have put on some weight. And it's because like a lot of insecurities and all of that within them, they're not purging it out, and it's you know what I mean? It's coming up. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, there's something about eating, and like eating a lot, or like drinking a lot, or just covering it up, and it's like, I don't know why, I just feel like they may have put on some weight. There's just something about that they're referencing. So let's pull some oracle cards for you, pile number 3, because I've been talking for a good 30 minutes now. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. What is the message from pile number 3's father's higher self? What is the message from pile number 3's? Oh wow, we have freedom. You've really liberated yourself, pile 3, from a lot of pain. Like, you've already done it, or you're in the process of still, you know, carrying it on. Because you see all the birds coming through the archway? You're transitioning, like, no more. I walk now with peace and nothing else. Like, there's a feeling of that, free as a bird, you know? And with all of these birds here, I feel like that's your ancestors that would have gone through the same pain, kind of watching you. With gratitude, because it's like when we purge, when we break ancestral patterns, we're not just, you know, it's not just us we're liberating, it always goes beyond us. And when we think how many generations back our ancestors go, we could be purging for like 100 people, 500 people, we don't know how far back it goes. And there's this energy of like a collective of ancestors behind you, like oh my God, you know what I mean? Go for it, fly. Like there's this reference of gratitude from them, like, thank you for doing that, you know? Because by liberating yourself, you're liberating them. By doing it for your own inner child, you're doing it for your parents' inner child and their parents' inner child and everyone who was wronged and everyone who went through the hurt. You're liberating them too by continuing the timeline through your children with peace and love and teaching them different. And I feel like you've done that. That's so powerful, pile 3. And I was saying to pile number 2 because there was this energy like the father couldn't be there to give pride. And for you guys, I want to say it to you, I feel like you wouldn't have had parents around you to say how grateful they are, or spirit, you know, they haven't been in the physical, your ancestors, they haven't been in the physical to tell you how proud they are. So I'm going to say thanks to you and say how proud I am of you for alchemizing that much and keeping that pure heart. Like, I'm so proud of you, pile 3. And I want to thank you as like a fellow light worker, because this is light worker stuff. I want to thank you as a fellow light worker, because that's why we come here. We plant ourselves in these places so we can purge and we can heal and we can do better moving forward, so that collective consciousness can, you know, arise. And that's what you've been doing. And it's such a hard, especially on your own with the 7 of Wands, that's so hard to do. And I applaud you so much. And I have so much love and gratitude for you as a person, pile 3, for making it through that and not knowing the way, but bringing you back to your heart and bringing you back to salvation, and doing that not just for you, but other people. Like, I want you to know, from me to you, I see the work you've done. They're making me feel it, and I can see it, and I am so proud of you. So proud of you. Pile number 3. I feel like you don't hear that a lot. I really feel like you don't get a lot of that from people. And I want you to know the higher selves of these beings. Maybe they're beings that you've had to cut off, siblings you had to cut off, maybe this father figure you've had to cut off. Know that higher selves are proud of you. There's so much pride and love coming from the ancestral line, you know? Pile, I feel like there's someone that was an ancestor way back is walking with you. This isn't someone you would have known in the physical. This is someone that was from way back. It could be someone you've known in the physical, but they're also feeling like they're from what, there's something about way back. So it could have been like they incarnated way back before the timeline got like cluttered, you know what I mean, before their karma kind of like trickled through, and then it was like they may have incarnated again and got caught up in the storm themselves and couldn't weather it. So now they're walking with you to weather it, and it's like, you've done this. Like, do you know how many, you know, souls have come through to do this and they haven't made it out of the storm? Like, you've done this, and they're walking with you, it feels. Pile number, oh, we have 2 cards that have come out. Okay, we have diligence, and we have another bird. What is this about birds? Do you see birds a lot? There's something about freedom here in birds. There's something about a connection to birds. You may be Arcturian starseeds or blue avian starseeds. There's something about birds here. Birds of a feather flock together, I just heard. Yeah, it's almost, and do you see how they're like singular and then there's like the pack in the distance? It's almost like you're moving on, you've ascended. With that energy of diligence, it's like you've moved past it. You see the smoke? Remember I was saying about the tornado, and we literally have like the not smoke, clouds, literally, like that's what you've done, and you've made it out. We also have illumination. Yeah, you've shone a light on all the darkness, all of the murky water and the murky, you know, tornado that everyone was getting caught up in. It's like you shone that light. You literally shone that light. The back of the deck, we have focus. At the back of the deck, they're referencing how independent you are and how strong you are, like the amount of mountains that you've climbed. There's no mountain that you can't climb. And I say whatever it is that you're wanting to bring in regards to career, in regards to money, or just a lifestyle that you want, when you want to have a little bit of a pick-me-up, look at the storm that you've weathered, see your strength, and use that strength within you to have you climb that other mountain. That's a message that's coming through. There's nothing that you couldn't manifest or work towards in this lifetime, because you've already done so much than one human being would normally even do in their lifetime. So there's a reference of that, and it's like you can do anything. That's a huge message coming through, pile 3. Yeah, okay. There's just pride coming through, pile number 3, pride and love, and I'm sorry I couldn't nurture you and father you in the way that I would have liked to. I didn't intend for it to go this way. We all got caught up in that storm, and I'm sorry that I wasn't able to protect you as much as the message as well. But from a hearty level, they have a lot of love for you. Even on the physical plane, that love's still there for you, you know? And they're saying, keep shining that heart. Keep shining that heart. It's a gift. They're saying. So pile 3, that was the message that I had for you. I really hope you got what you needed from this reading. I really hope that this brought you guidance. I was able to hold space for you. I hope this was able to help you find peace in this connection with your father. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I do want to say before I end, remember on Instagram there are scammers pretending to be me. So make sure that you are being diligent. I'm not messaging anyone for readings. This is my only Instagram that's up here. So please be aware of that. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. And hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Welcome to your reading. We are currently taking a look at what the message is from the higher self of your father. So you guys chose the amber. I'm going to pop that by there and we are going to get straight in. So let's get straight in. I do want to say the ring light that I use for my readings, it's normally very bright. It's normally a lot brighter than this, but I've had like a really bad migraine come on. I need to get my eyes tested again soon because I keep getting migraines lately. So I've dimmed the light a little bit. You should still be able to see everything. As you can see, like you can still kind of see stuff, but I've dimmed the light so it's not as bright as usual. I did want to mention that because it was a lot brighter for the other piles, but my migraine just kept getting worse, so I had to turn it down. So I hope that's okay. Pile number 4, let's get straight in. Tap me into the collective of pile number 4, please, and their father's higher self. What is the message from pile number 4's father's higher self? What message do they have for pile number 4? We have the Ace of Cups. Yeah, there's a lot of love here. There is a lot of love here. Pile number 4. What is the message from pile number 4's father's higher self? What is the message from pile... Oh, look at this. We have the 10 of Pentacles. What is the message from pile number 4's father's higher self? I feel like you're in good connection. We do have the 7 of Swords, but I do feel like you're in good connection with your father. Like there's not a feeling of abandonment or anything like that. That does feel like your father would be in your life. It does feel that way. At least that's what I'm tapping into. If that doesn't resonate, it might not be your pile, but that's an energy that I'm picking up. Like your father is in your life. Your father feels quite protective of you in the physical and in the spiritual. There is that feeling there. Do you know what I mean? Pile number 4, please. Pile number 4, please. Spirit guides, what is the message from pile number 4's father's higher self? What is the message from pile number 4's father's higher self? We have the Emperor reversed. I'm going to lay the cards below and then we'll get in. So pile 4, what is the message from pile number 4's father's higher self? Let me grab that card. We have the Knight of Wands. Pile, I'm hearing the song from Mamma Mia when the child is, Sophia's growing up. You know the song Slipping Through My Fingers? The song that like ABBA song, it's like they're referencing that, like the more you get older, they almost feel like they're losing you in a way. It's that feeling of slipping through the fingers, like, you know what I mean? You used to spend a lot of time with them, maybe you don't anymore. Maybe it's just the sense, maybe you've moved out, or maybe you're just busy doing your own thing, and it's like how time flies. Like there's that type of feeling in regards to you from your father, pile number 4. And there's like a bittersweet energy because I keep hearing that song from Mamma Mia, the Slipping Through My Fingers song. So there is that feeling, and there's almost this feeling before I get into the other cards with the Knight of Wands and Ace of Cups, like they have so much love for you and they have so much pride for you, but there's this feeling of like not wanting to bug you. I don't know whether you're not too affectionate or there's just this feeling of not wanting to be too affectionate because they don't want to like overstep. They don't want to coddle you. Does that make sense? And I almost feel like growing up, I feel like the higher self of your father, there's a lot of love here, and there's a lot of like what am I meant to be? Like there's this feeling like winging it in regards to being a father, and like what am I meant to be? Like am I supposed to be more stern than this, or am I supposed to be more sweet or loving. There's this feeling that your father would have been quite giving or quite nurturing. It could be like the roles are reversed with your parents. Like your mother may be the more masculine energy and more domineering and more strict, whereas the father may be a lot more like whimsical, and they feel more, I wouldn't say they feel divine feminine, but they just feel more emotionally like they lead with their emotions, or they really care. They have like a very big heart and they wear that on their sleeve, whereas the mother energy feels a little bit more like earthy. Does that make sense? That's how it's coming through. So almost feeling like, have I done the role right? Like, have I taught them enough? Like, is there more that I could have done? Like, there is that feeling, and there's this feeling of winging it. Like, am I supposed to be a bit more stern than this? Like, there's that feeling coming through. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides. Pile number 4, please. Spirit guides, what is the message? We have the 2 of Swords. What is the message from pile number 4, please? What is the message from pile number 4's higher self? We have the 6 of Swords. What is the message from pile number 4's father's higher self? We have the Fool. And the back of the deck, we have the Knight of Swords. Okay. What I'm really being told here with the 2 of Swords and the 10 of Pentacles, they're almost referencing your life right now with the 7 of Swords and the 6 of Swords. Are you getting over a breakup? Are you walking away from something that was really taken from you? Someone that like didn't treat you the best? Because there's like a concern here. Do you understand what I mean? There's a concern, and there's like, I wouldn't say worry, I wouldn't say they're worrying, but there's a concern. They're wanting you to see yourself the way that they see you. You know, a beautiful person full of love. Like they want you to see yourself like that. There's almost even a feeling like it doesn't even have to be a breakup, but there's almost a feeling like maybe you've entered a career, or you're in a career right now and you almost don't feel good enough. You don't feel like you patch up to other people, and there's this reference like, you are this 10 of Pentacles. See yourself as that. Like, you are so worthy. You have all of the gifts to kind of like strive forward with that. Like, don't doubt yourself. Don't allow yourself to feel like you're not worthy of abundance coming in, of real love coming in, of this job coming in. Like, you are so worthy, and there's an energy of that they're almost referencing, that they want you to step into your power more and speak your truth more. There's an energy from your father's higher self of wanting you to like stand your ground and speak your truth. You know, saying like, speak your truth even when your voice shakes. That's a message that's coming through pile number 4. It's like they want you to stand in your truth, say what needs to be said, and own who you are. There's a reference to that, and I feel like higher self wise, I feel like, at least with your family, I almost feel like you're all kind of like soul tribe members, and I feel like you are always aiding each other and like helping each other out. But there's this strong energy here. I don't know whether with this 7 of Swords and 6 of Swords that maybe there was a relationship or somebody in your life that made you feel like you weren't worthy by not treating you the best, and there's almost this energy of them wanting to overcompensate by that. But it's like there's almost this feeling of like, don't want to overstep my boundaries and overcompensate and coddle them, because I want them to like learn their lesson and grow into who they are, and they're not going to do that if I wrap them up in cotton wool. But then there's also a feeling like all I want to do is wrap them up in cotton wool, because it's like I want them to be safe and I want them to be loved. Like, I want to do that for them. So there's such a strong fatherly energy and such a strong nurturing energy. Your father may have been more of a nurturer growing up, pile number 4. That's how it's coming through. But there's something about a transition you're going through right now, where something was taken from you that had you feeling disempowered, and they're saying you're working through that right now. And it's just this energy of like, with the Emperor card reversed, you're like, when the Emperor is like upright, it comes in as that authoritative figure, but there's almost this feeling of like, you've grown now, and it's like it's in reverse, because it's almost like my job is done, but not in the sense like I'm done being a dad, not like that. It's like there's this feeling of, I wish they still needed me, but they don't need me in that sense anymore. I wish I could still, you know what I mean, pick them up from school and take them to whatever restaurant, like do these things that I wish I could still do that. But it's like they've got their own life, they've, you know, they're moving forward, they're in a new chapter. And with the Emperor card reversed, it's just like a lot of roles that I had to step in as that I'm not needed for anymore. You know, maybe they used to step in and drive you places, now you have your own car. Or maybe they used to step in and help you with like your finances, but now you know how to do that now. And there's a lot of that coming through of like, they reminisce a lot, and they almost feel like a job well done looking at you. There's a lot of pride when it comes to you and other siblings as well. I almost feel like you have like a sibling either close in age that's older or younger, but it's like close in age. They could be older or younger, but it's like almost born the same year, or like not the well, yeah, it could be like the same year, like there's only like a year and a bit apart or something like that. Does that make sense? Like it's coming through like that. They're referencing, and there's a lot of pride. This feels like a very family dominated like energy coming through, with a lot of love coming through. Pile number 4, and I keep hearing slipping through my fingers the Mamma Mia song, like I keep hearing it. There's so much love that they have for you. And with the Knight of Swords, there's this energy like, whenever you need me, I'll come running type thing. It's like, I'm here for you. I'm here and I'll be here for you, from the Friend song. There is that energy coming through, pile number 4, really, really strongly. I feel like they're very protective over you. And I feel like even in higher self, I feel like higher self-wise, your soul family, you're all kind of protective of each other. But there is that feeling coming through, pile number 4. So much love coming through. There's someone that's in their bad books that hurt you, though. I don't know if it's a friend or a relationship, but it's like, let me get my back. Like, they're joking about it, like, let me get my back. Like, it feels like that. Like, no one hurts, you know what I mean? My family, like, no one hurts people that I love. Like, I don't like this at all. It could have been someone that, like, they may have even disapproved of someone that was in your life, or even if they didn't meet them, I feel like energetically, like higher self-wise, they may have not approved, like they didn't get the stamp of approval. Is someone that would have took from you, and there's a reference of that, and that being a focus right now, pile number 4. I want to pull some oracle cards. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides. Pile number 4, what messages does pile number 4's father's higher self have for pile number 4? We have gateway here. They are, what I'm being told here as well with the Fool card and the gateway, they admire your free spirit. They admire your like drive. And I just feel like you're someone that sees the light in things. You see like beyond the physical, you see the mystical, you see the light in things. You're someone that always takes like, you don't take life too serious. And I feel like you're someone that's always looked at life like that. Maybe you believe in like unicorns and, you know, mermaids and things like that. There's a feeling of that, and they love that about you. They want you to keep holding on to that inner child. They don't want the world to like bog you down and like you lose that flair. So they're referencing for you to hold on to that. Hold on to that free spirit. Hold on to that inner child, because I feel like it's going to guide you through life. Pile number 4. A message from pile number 4's father's higher self, please, spirit guides. Oh, we have delight, guys. This is literally how they see you. There's so much love here. So much love here with this card, delight. I feel like you're someone, because this person feels like they're still in your life. You're someone to them. They see you as someone that's very funny. You kind of light their day up. You're someone that's really funny. It's like if you're at an event with the family, or maybe it's Christmas or whatever, like you being there, you're really funny. There's almost like quite a close bond. Like there's almost something about like you have their humor. And I feel like maybe the mother that you know, your mother, they may not have the same humor, and may, you know, get annoyed or something, because there's this feeling of like a father and the child like having the same humor and winding up and like laughing, and there's a feeling of that. They almost feel like you're like a best friend. It feels like that. It feels very heartwarming. That's how it feels, pile number 4. And they see you as really funny, like a joy. You're someone that's a joy. And I feel like you were as a child. Like there's this feeling of like you as a child, you may have been really funny as a child, and there's that feeling. Pile number 4, please, spirit guides. One final card. What is the message from pile number 4's father's higher self? We have truth. There's almost this energy, pile number 4. Let me just sort that out. I know I'll forget to edit that out, so let me just sort that out. There's almost this energy, pile number 4, with the truth card of like, oh wow, there's a person looking as well. I don't know whether you can see in the image. Let me try and turn it up a little bit so you can see. There's like somebody looking down at the tree in the image. There's almost this energy of like, I don't know whether you have kids, but when you do have children, or whatever point you have children, there's this energy of them looking down, and there's like a excitement of what's to come beyond the connection that you have. There's an excitement of where you're going to take life and what's in store, and like you having children, there's an excitement to be there and have the same traditions with your children too. They almost feel like they're patting themselves on the back, like job well done, and they're almost feeling like they're referencing this like a team effort, and they're just referencing like they wouldn't have it any other way, like the connection and you, do you know what I mean? They wouldn't have it any other way. They feel like you have turned out to be something that, do you know what I mean? It's like you've exceeded their expectations type thing. There's a lot of love, and that's coming from their higher self. I don't know whether they don't always say nurturing things because they're more in a jokey way, or maybe they do literally tell you this, but that there is such a love for you. It's such an open heart that I'm feeling from them as well. There's a lot of love, and they're really proud of that, and they can't wait to like make more memories with your children then, if that makes sense. There's like a lot of love there, like job well done type of thing. In the back of the deck we have leadership here. There's just this reference of like, I hope I've done you proud, and I hope you view me the same way. Do you know what I mean? Like they're very protective. It's like they're looking at the family like a pack, and it's like very protective, whether it's like you've got lots of siblings or you still have that family unit, but there's this protectiveness, and they're looking at the situation like that, and it's like, I didn't always have it always figured out, I didn't always do the right thing, but I always, you know, led with my heart, and I hope I, you know, I did well. There's a feeling of that. Very much like tribe energy and protecting the tribe. That's something that's coming through. So pile number 4, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you got what you needed from this reading. I really hope that you enjoyed. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching. Beware of that pesky little scammer on Instagram. I think there's like 3 of them now. I'm not messaging anyone for readings, so that is not me. My only Instagram is the one on here. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.